So we've got quite a few different topics we're going to touch on tonight. I think Tom's done a really good job at allotting the times. And then we'll also have an open forum at the end for any topics that are not listed on our schedule. We just would ask that you hold those until the end. So minutes of last meeting. Any comments?
I just passed those out. Catherine's going to help me figure out how to put them on the website.
So we can postpone the vote until next meeting on those. Okay. Treasurer's report.
It's exactly the same as it was 2 weeks ago. I don't have any other information. This is the bank statement, so it was $1264.27.
Deputy Short, for the short report. And just to let you know, Deputy Short will be holding on. I had been put on notice that there was going to be some people here to speak about the break-ins in the pharmacy. If anyone is here, can I see a show of hands just to verify? Okay, and Deputy Short will be up here in open forum. You guys can bring up the topic, talk, and then we'll be hanging around. We'll get to the bottom of this. So, go ahead.
All right, good evening, everybody. Well, the good news is we had a total of 7 crime-related reports for the month of January, which is far, far less than what we had in December. So, on the breakdown, we had a total of 3 burglaries, and one of those was unknown. And we had 1 grand theft, or 1 petty theft, 1 auto theft, and 2 other burglaries, which were the business establishments. So I'm sure you all know and read about the burglaries that we've had in the pharmacy and in the couple of restaurants. And we are working on that to see if we can solve that. We actually had 2 gentlemen arrested who we believe were the ones in December, based on statements and MOs and equipment. But unfortunately, they bailed out and committed more. And by the way, they were on bail from being arrested for the same thing in Sierra Madre, Temple City, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach. They're from the Long Beach area. And they obviously know somebody up here, so they're coming up this way, and then they're disappearing different roads to get down south. And they're hitting places all the way down the line and all the way up the line. So, unfortunately, with the way our system is, if the judge grants them bail and they get bail, they're out until their trial. And you're, well, I hate to say they're going to keep racking them up, but eventually, hopefully, we'll get a judge that will say, you know what, I'm going to keep these guys in until their trial. But right now, I mean, if they're making money selling things like prescription drugs and taking cash, they're affording their bail. And I'm sure their fellow members of their little group are helping them with the bail too. But that's, yeah, they were arrested in Santa Clarita and posted bail from that. They were caught in the pharmacy over there, and they went on a chase. They got them, they got one of the cars, and they're using several. And they bailed out within 2 days, and 2 days after that, they hit us here.
Well, at what point does the judge say no more bail for you guys? It seems
Probably
like we've passed the point of where that would be a prudent thing to do.
Unfortunately, I'm not a judge.
I understand, but does it ever happen? I guess is my question.
Yeah, well, the trouble is they have to get caught where someone's going to look at their past stuff.
And that doesn't happen from jurisdiction to jurisdiction?
Well, you're not supposed to bring up what happened in the past. That's another court. And so they get caught here, they have a record here. And unless we can tie it in and write a master report with the other departments that says, hey, we've got something from San Marino, from Temple, from here, 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 and we're putting it as one case, the judge only sees the one case. And so they go, okay, well, you're on bail till you're trying. These guys don't care. They obviously do not care. So,
since we're on the topic, I think I'm going to let the ladies speak that are here. Do you you guys have any direct questions you'd like to pose to Deputy Short regarding the robberies and security in the town?
Well, it's very disheartening to hear that somebody can actually be, I think, ended in a pharmacy and be let go. What chance do we have when we're not even there when the robberies are occurring? And the sheriffs are not getting on the scene for 20 minutes.
Well, the last one at the pharmacy, they were there within 6 minutes or less from the time they received the alarm. And I'll explain in case people don't know how burglar alarms work. Burglar alarm rings at your business. It goes off. Depending on the company you have, and I'm not saying anything about different companies, some will let it go to reset and go a second time to confirm there's somebody there. Then they call the business and go, is there somebody there? Somebody doesn't answer the business, then they call the emergency number to see is somebody there. If they don't get an answer, eventually they call us, which is 10 or 12 minutes down the line before we ever get the call. And I will tell you, the guys that are working the early morning shift from 10 to midnight spend 90% of their time now strictly in Acton doing loops. And because I look at, they've been putting in records of where they are, and I look at those every day. And I can tell you they spend time at both Santiago squares, downtown, at the market, here at the library, across by 76, and they spend, unless they get a call, they're here, and they've been that way since the second attempt we had at Perkin Up.
So how many, I mean, we know you're a resident sheriff, but how many sheriffs are assigned during the evening? You're saying the guys, is that 2 separate vehicles?
No, 1 car, 2 deputies. There's only 1 car out here on early mornings. On the PM shift, which is 6 o'clock to midnight, we have anywhere between 2 and 3 cars out. Because there's 1 car assigned out here, and then there's 2 floating cars.
When you say out here, what are the boundaries that they're assigned to?
After 4 o'clock, they're assigned anywhere between Lake Hughes, Lake Elizabeth, here, and parts of Parables. There's also 2 other cars, sometimes 3, that are strictly Parables.
So my question would be, if they're out at the limits of the areas, and there's a call here at the same time, what do you think the response time would be then?
And if they're in Lake Elizabeth, 40 minutes. But I will clarify, since this happened, there's an order from the station captain that if you hear a burglar alarm go off in Acton, you're going to send city cars and you're going to send them pronto. So we are addressing that. They're not saying, oh, don't, no, you get a burglar alarm out here, they told dispatch, you will send 3 or 4 cars out here.
I was just wondering, in your opinion, what's the best kind of door or barrier that a business like the pharmacy could put up?
Unfortunately, I know the pharmacies, both of them, have gone to great lengths to put up steel doors with steel hasps and welded and steel frames, and these guys are brute forcing them with crowbars. I mean, huge crowbar, they are just tearing them up to get in. And like the back door of the, this time they got in through the barber shop and then went into the pharmacy. I mean, that's a steel door, and it's opened like that, where they basically pried it to get to the push bar and back. And that's how they got in. And
They went through the wall between the...
no, they went through the back. There's an aisle in the back. But if I listened, I went to the barber shop and listened to their video, because their cameras, unfortunately, didn't cover that areas. But even over the sound of the burglar alarm, you can hear them banging at the door and going, boom, boom, boom. It's loud. So these guys on video, I mean, we have them in other locations, just trying to break in as all they can with their whatever brute strength they have. And they were only in the store, I think it was 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Because I went and I have the video and I timed it.
When they were apprehended in Santa Clarita, did they have weapons on them?
No weapons. But we have recovered some of their tools from this last one. We recovered tools from Santa Clarita and car. Unfortunately, if you watch TV and see that they get DNA in 10 minutes, It doesn't happen in real life. You're looking at 3 to 6 weeks before we'll ever get anything for DNA. And that's with a rush.
I'm just wondering if they're going for certain drugs, if those classes of drugs can be put somewhere else, not.
They're prying into things. They know what they're looking for.
They broke through 5 doors. The first one, total full metal door, plus all the locked cabinet. So in 2 minutes, and they cleared out everything. And so I don't know what else can we do, because these people seems like they will come through the walls or the ceiling and everything. Anybody who knows, they broke into Burns Pharmacy 3 times, many other places, but not only the pharmacies, or what's going on in the whole valley. You know, there's obviously something serious going on. In the last 6 months, our poor little independent businesses are getting hammered. And how much longer are we going to be able to survive? Are we going to have a ghost town here, or are we going to put our foot down and say, no, we are not going to do this?
We have an idea who they are, but we can't arrest them without proof. And that's the law.
Isn't there enough circumstantial evidence by
No, it doesn't go that way. Thanks to Prop 47 and everything written, we're going to have some kind of proof, either through DNA or fingerprints, or catch their outfits and go, yes, this is the matching stuff. We can't just suppose anymore and go, hey, it's a gut feeling because it matches, because they won't file it. It'll get kicked out and they'll be out in the street again.
What time did this take place?
Collectively, they're taking place between 2 in the morning and 5 in the morning. Between all, if you look at an aggregate of all the places that have been hit. And all the places they're hitting in all the other cities are all mom and pop style pharmacies and restaurants. Because most of your other places, your CVS's, your Thrifty, well, it's not Thrifty, but Rite Aid, or whatever they are, there's somebody in those places 24 hours a day. So these guys are not going to take a chance and walk into a place that's got somebody in it. They're looking for places that are closed. And even places we have that have put up extra security lights, put up lights that go on when you walk in. It doesn't deter these guys. And I have spent probably the last month working on stakeouts from midnight to 6 a.m. almost every night with the detectives. And you know what? They never showed up during those times. And we had a task force out here, and I can't tell you how many, but there was a lot. And you would never know that there were cops. And we had cars, the black and white cars strategically placed to join in. Nothing happened. And so they can only fund that for so long, and they go, well, nothing happened, and the day, 3 days after they leave, which is coincidental to when these guys get out, is 2 days later, now we get hit again. So, for some reason, they have a connection up here, and we haven't figured it out yet, but there is a task force of detectives working on this to try to figure it out. And we'll get it, we're just trying. These guys are pretty sophisticated. I can't tell you everything, but basically, they're dressed up so they can run. And one of them is a known runner who will run from the police and hide. And he's got the outfit to go with it to run. So it's hard to catch guys like that unless you can be right on top of them when they get there. But even with Santa Clarita, the guys took off running. And they were able to catch them down the road, fortunately, because they got into a car and they tried to pass the truck on the right. The truck yielded for the squad car and ran over them. So we were able to get them and the car. But yeah, they were in jail. They didn't say anything. They refused to talk. They lawyer up, so you can't beat confessions out of people. If they don't talk and they want a lawyer, you have to stop them. But we know from the descriptions of the property and everything else that we can say, yes, they've done the ones out here to a certain degree of certainty. So we can only do so much.
Scott, in a case like this, from your experience, do guard dogs do any good? Or are they hurt or fed something?
Guard dogs, I don't have any idea how they work in a small building. I know in those places in Santa Clarita that have large factories that have dogs, and they are deterrent. They put signs that says guard dog on duty. However, a lot of these guys, if they know there's a dog, will throw some tainted meat or something to the dog, and now the dog's out. So they can go in and do their thing.
So how long would it take for there to be a, what did you call it, a master plan? Where all these departments get together and,
Well, we're working on that right now because I've been working with the head detective on it, Lane Arnold, and we just found out some information about another city that has a wanted poster that has 3 of the guys that were picked up in Santa Clarita on it. So we're contacting them to try to put it together, going, okay, how many do you have? And we're hoping to become the master agency on it, which means we will do the filing and then say, here's all the places they burglarize. Because you get into that jurisdictional where some cities, especially in Orange County, you know, it's like, well, we want to file on our side. Well, we're bigger, we want to file here. So that becomes guys a lot higher than me with bars and stuff on their collar that have to go argue that one out. But the key is to get them all together so we can go into a judge and say, here's 97 burglaries that we have for these guys. And then they can go, oh, let's deny the bail. And we can at least hold or put it high enough that they can't afford to bail out. Because, I'm sorry, burglary is only like $25,000 for bail. So you get 10% of that from a bail bondsman and you're out. And that's the law.
you would think with controlled substances it would be
No,
higher.
because it's only counted as burglary. Because they didn't sell them. If they sold them, then we could charge them with selling them. But at the time that they're there, they're stealing. So the law says it's a burglary. So we're stuck on what the law is. You know, we're trying to keep an open mind as to all the laws we have to work to limit what we can do.
Scott?
Let me get it. Now, you were, I don't want you to.
Well, actually, my question was along the same lines. I said, since so many incidents have occurred in Acton, Santa Clarita, Palmdale, and Lancaster, how closely are you working with those cities?
Oh.
So that somebody doesn't get caught here and said, oh, it's the
With
only
those
person
cities,
here.
we're on the phone all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, those, and some of these we're just discovering, like, for example, the one in Manhattan Beach, I caught on the Channel 4 News. And it happened to be on the Channel 4 News, and I'm looking at this video, and these guys are going into mom and pop restaurants and pharmacies, and I'm going, crowbar, mask, hoodie, those are our guys. The same description, same forehead. So I went and got the Channel 4, they gave me the contact. It was at night, so I got a hold of the detective first thing and said, hey, here's the site from Channel 4, you're welcome to go look at all their video. We had no idea because there is no master database that says, hey, we picked up a guy last night. Once they get convicted, yeah, it goes onto their rap sheet and you can run somebody and see everything they've ever done and where they've done it, but until they get convicted, it's just they've been arrested. And we're kind of hamstrung with that, and we can't do much other than they've been arrested until we get a big case on them. And like I said, once we get a judge that will decide with us and say, hey, these guys need to go stay with you guys for a while, then we're good with that. Okay.
Are these known gang members?
Uh,
Or have you determined that?
The ones that we are suspecting, the ones that have been picked up, yes, are gang members.
Okay.
From all down south.
Very sophisticated, they,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I
They're
got it.
more sophisticated than the average person, the average guy who breaks in. So like I said, they're all prepared. We know what we're looking for, but we're looking at the videos going, okay, these guys have rehearsed this, they planned it, they know their way around, and I don't think any of them have ever been in these places, but they know from habit where stuff's stored. And they come in with big heavy crowbars to break everything to find it. So,
My question, a couple of them, is that I always see you alone in the car. I've never seen you riding with anyone else. Or is it standard where the nighttime officers that are patrolling our area, there's 2 to a car?
2 to a car, yeah. After 2 o'clock in the afternoon, all county cars will have 2 people. Yeah.
And then my other question is, I know they can drop everything and run over, but it just seems like the boundaries of what you guys are being challenged to maintain are quite large.
It is, but if you look at, and I have to go to my other hat, I invited my sergeant to come here and talk, and he couldn't make it unfortunately, but
So just to say one more statement was that, and you recently said that there was funds that came to the sheriff's department that added patrols.
right, those were the extra cars that are here. They have one during the day, and one single person car during the day, it's 266 Henry. And then 265 Boy is the rover at night, who could be anywhere in these areas.
So during the day, there's that extra car and you?
Yes.
during the day?
And sometimes a third car.
Okay, well, who was some of that? I mean, if you could tell me, but isn't most of the crime happening at night?
At night, yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to shift that extra car during the day to the night shift?
I didn't, that's something you'll have to, that was addressed with the Board of Supervisors when they provided the money for it. They said, these are the times we want the car. So that's
So
their
that's
money.
something we could address the board of supervisors on, asking the shifts.
Yeah, or the station captain, if you call Dennis Neer, who's the new station captain. It's K-N-E-E-R. And he just recently, he got there last Sunday.
I mean, since we've had so much activity here, is there any way, just for like the short term, like for a month or something, to put
Yes.
extra patrols?
That we've suggested it, and so it's going up the chain, that's all I can tell you with that. But the problem is if you look at January with 7 crime reports, that's nothing. And they look at it, the budget people, and go, well, you only had 7 and you have 2 cars out there. That's not enough to fund another car. And they tend to look at it in the aggregate and take a quarter, go, okay, well, we spread it out. Yeah, we had 40 overall in December. And before that, we had in the teens. So they're looking, go, well, your crime rate's nothing out there. Look at Palmdale, look at Lancaster, look at East LA. You know, we've got to put cars out there because they have all this crime.
But there's the cluster of burglaries that have been happening.
Right, but that's
Yeah.
different. That's why we put a task force on it, because that comes out of a different fund. And again, we have cars, the Partners Against Crime team has been coming out regularly, and they don't answer calls for service. They just stake out.
And then
So
and
that's
I have
what
a
we're trying to
question
do.
for the pharmacy. I mean, obviously, I heard they went through several doors, and then you said lockers or cabinets. Those, I've got those from my business, and those aren't really safe. So I had heard that they had gone into a vault, but it was just a locked cabinet. It wasn't actually like a...
No, but even without disclosing anything, these had special locks on everything.
But what
These
was,
were custom made
but
locks.
they weren't like heavy steel safes that you would put cash and diamonds and gold in.
Well, I won't say they were not just a regular safe, no.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't a regular safe.
And you have, I mean, with all the gates and doors they went through, do you also have a camera security system, or is it strictly
Yes.
you? Did the cameras pick up anything, or they were all?
He has the
I
reports.
sat there on Saturday and went through and
So
pulled up all the cameras.
was there, I mean,
Neighborhood watch, where we're all kind of looking, we know what we're looking for, or we're kind of being observant. And I don't know that I know that that's happening here.
We have tried, since I have been here, to establish neighborhood watch at several residential areas who complain, and nobody wants to do the work. We don't do the work for neighborhood watch, it's up to the neighborhood. And in rural areas, they don't have a structured program like you do in the city. It basically, the residents have to get together, they have to buy the signs, they have to put it together, and then the county will come up and put the signs up if they don't have a place to put them. But I can't find a lot of people that want to become a block captain and keep all the information and keep tabs to their neighbors. And we have a lot of neighbors who don't want people to know what they do, so we can't get their phone numbers. And it's a little bit difficult, but I've tried at Star Point, I've tried at Sierra Colony, I've tried over by Stallion Meadow. I mean, we've tried to get them started and they just don't seem to want to function.
These volunteers on patrol, they're not doing anything, they used to do some things in the evening.
I don't
They're not
know
doing
because
anything at night anymore.
I haven't seen them.
I haven't seen them since the 4th of July parade.
Yeah.
Because Frank's older usually drives the car.
Yeah, I've seen Frank and Hoover out on occasion, but they're usually during the day or early afternoon. I don't know if any are going out at night because they don't have a computer to log in like we do. They call the station and say, hey, we're out here in this area. And if they see something, they'll call it in on the radio, but I know there's none of them out here after midnight. Because county policy says volunteers and explorers cannot be out after midnight.
You pay someone to be there, and I would suspect that these brute force guys are gonna go somewhere else. Why go to the place where there's a guy?
And from what we've seen of them, they're not into confrontations.
Yeah.
They're gonna be in and out, and they don't wanna, if somebody's there, bypass.
It's a very large cost, though.
Yeah.
Well, I understand that, but it can't, what you've been through can't have been cheap either, you know?
Well, I know one of the restaurants, for example, were telling me to replace their glass doors cost them well over $1,000 every time. And insurance doesn't cover a lot of that.
Right, I mean,
And it's like, how much can I do that? But a security guard will cost them far more.
I understand. I guess I'd look at the cost, and if it were my business, I'd think of hiring a guard until you catch these guys, which is inevitable.
One can do that. Unfortunately, I even know independent pharmacy owners in Croisdale and Lancaster. And these thieves, if they can't come at night, they will come during the day and hold you up. I know of the pharmacist in Croisdale who was beaten up a couple of years ago. I know of one in Lancaster, he was held at knife point. So, I don't, it's very frustrating. We even last year collected for somebody who was shot and killed. And this is in the daytime.
Yeah, and it does happen. I can't say that it doesn't. But the biggest thing is, for the citizens too, is if you see a car that you think is out of place, it's probably out of place. If we get the license number of the car, we can at least figure out where it's from. I have been getting a lot of calls during the day for people calling me for different vehicles, going, hey, this car is sitting up on this street, it's been here. We go check it out. And sometimes, and we do have a lot of private investigators that come up here, but they're supposed to check in with the sheriff's station when they come out and say, hey, I'm a work comp investigator, and I'm going to be sitting at the corner walking, don't walk, watching this house for 10 hours. Okay, and we write it down and the units know about it, but I probably went to 15 cars in the last week that people, they weren't from here. What were they driving through neighborhoods for? What were they looking at? Well, we dealt with that. But people didn't know, so people call. And I've had people who call, unfortunately, who, well, I didn't want to call because I didn't want to get somebody in trouble. Well, it's better to call us and have us check it out than that person be capering and doing something and come back and do something later. But yeah, this is a surprising number that I don't want to call because I don't want to get somebody in trouble.
Is it narcotics? And the storage space for that, is that one locker 3 foot by 3 foot, or is it a wall?
It varies from pharmacy to pharmacy. We don't carry too many of them because we don't want to be robbed. So what we had wasn't as much as most pharmacies because we like to special order.
So I was just looking at, as a suggestion, maybe a good safe just for those and just market. Some of these people may have been in the store before. I wouldn't imagine someone walking in and breaking into somewhere they don't really know where they're going to be looking for things, and maybe just a good heavy safe. I have one at my house, and I have no problem telling everyone it's there because it takes a crane to lift it, and you would need blow torches, and you'd burn the whole mountainside down before you got into it. And that's just a fact. So I don't mind telling anyone, and everyone can see it. And that safe, I bought it used, and it was $1,800, and it cost me $1,000 to get it in my garage. And I couldn't get it in my house because it was so heavy. But it may be something you could look into, and I'm not saying you're at fault at all, but it's just a suggestion that there is some really good safes out there, fireproof, and this is 2 inches solid steel. You could lock stuff up in there, and even if they got in, they wouldn't get to it. And if they
Good evening, everyone. I will be very brief. I don't have anything unless you're interested in drum circles, then I have something very exciting for you. February the 20th, Saturday, we have a djembe drum workshop with a friend of mine, actually, named Croisdale. He's going to be here. Everyone is invited to participate. Please join us. I want to get him a big audience. Next, February 19th, on a Friday, we have our normal Fine Art Friday. It's getting to be pretty popular. We watch a couple videos, we talk about some stuff. If you're interested, it's an early morning thing starting at 11. Please join us. And lastly, February the 22nd, this is a Monday night. We have a part of our equine horse health series. It's called Hands-On Horse Care. It's all about horse emergencies. Those are the three programs I wanted to highlight tonight. Also, our tax forms are coming in. I've had a lot of phone calls about tax forms. The federal forms are here. The state forms are not here yet. So if you're interested, we have them in the library. Also, March the 4th, Friday, one more thing. Our biggest program of the year is our Dr. Seuss birthday. We have well over 100 people. Everyone's invited, so if you're interested in the flyer, we have some in the lobby area, and they're also on that little table in the back of the room. And that is all I have for you today.
Any announcements and correspondences?
The only correspondence that I got was in our PO box we use for the elections. Actually, nobody corresponded to join the council. It's just that the PO box is due for renewal. And so we should keep it open because we're still running our wish in the journal.
If I'm the treasurer, I don't know if I am, am I?
Well, we're going to get to that, but
Okay.
I'm Jackie here, so I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I just paid it out of my own personal funds last time. So.
Oh, okay, so,
It's like $32 for 6 months.
okay. Yeah, there's things that.
The 501c4 update is that the attorney has been very busy. He's promised me he will get on it and have some news for us at the next meeting. The council officer elections, which we've been putting off until this return of the year, are we going to put it off since Jackie's not here?
1, 2, 3.
Are we going to vote for?
Jackie,
Yeah.
Where are you?
All right, well, we'll put it off till the next.
well, she's not here to decline, so.
Well, yeah.
Oh, nice, Elizabeth. Oh, Jackie's not here.
I nominate Jackie for all positions.
For all
I'll second that. You can't, you're the president.
She'll never be absent again.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move that to the next schedule.
Okay.
The St. Mary's Catholic Church development letter also pertaining to Jackie. We've gotten a call from St. Mary's Church requesting the letter that we had promised. It actually, no one's perfect, it had fallen through the holes, and Jackie, when we went back through our minutes, had been the one that had agreed that we would do the letter and she would prepare it. So maybe what we can do is just send an email to Jackie with the minutes.
I did.
You did? Did she respond to that?
No.
Okay.
Did everybody get that email?
Yes.
Okay, good, okay.
Yeah. So with that said, the only other thing we probably should discuss is within the letter and the realm of it, it appears, you know, in the discussion we had that they came in, we had a couple of suggestions for the exterior of the building, and they also want to separate out those lots and develop those lots. And within a couple of phone calls that I had made, it seemed evident that we really should hold that as two separate developments. And I think Tom had a good idea as to, you know, basically within the letter, we should also hold those as two separate developments so that we aren't making concessions for the lot developments to be done, which those could be done immediately and the church may or may not ever be built. And I'm not saying that we're making any concessions, but obviously, you know, we'd like to have a church in our town. It just seems like developing houses and building a church should be two separate things. Any other comments or ideas on that? How does everyone else feel?
Well, from the minutes of when they were here, I think it was pretty obvious they want to do what the community wants. They want to be part of the community, but I think the big sticky issue was the clustering, and the county was the one that suggested that they do clustering on those 7 lots to make, was the frontage that was gonna be smaller? I don't remember exactly why they, but there was something about them that didn't meet the standards. I think it was the frontage and the acreage.
I mean, whether to do with that part of the
Yeah,
property.
Right,
it's the back part of the lots, we're going down into the wash,
And they were trying to use that for some of their space on it, and that's one of the.
Right, so the county said you can't use the back part of these lots. So
Yeah.
they ended up being undersized.
And actually, we actually did that deal that we made with them that night, we talked to them that night, and we pretty well said, well, like, we probably did, the church did, that, Mr. and I talked about it, and we said, you know, maybe we really shouldn't be doing that, because that sets a precedent, you know. I mean, I understand why we did what we did, but I kind of wonder if we didn't just step out of our bounds a little bit.
Well, I think our letter should maybe say something like, you know, the council supports the building of the church. We understand that the 7 lots are going to be used to fund the building of the church. And to be fair to, you know, and those 7 lots should be held to completely the community standards. And if they need help with the county to make that happen, we should be able to provide that help in the letter as well. That we suggest that, you know, the county not automatically fall into clustering. They could make the lots the proper size and just say, that's not buildable. That would be a better solution than starting the clustering all over.
Yeah, I mean, we need to do something there. I mean, I understand whether they need that extra dough to build there.
Right, well, without that,
That's the problem they got.
Right.
It always seems like to me that when see the churches that they build in the community, that the county was a lot harder on them than they were the individual people. But they really don't get any money off of that, because it's a non-profit type of thing. They
Right.
get the money off
but
of
the
it.
engineer was told to go back to the county and readdress those back lot lines.
Right.
To allow them to go farther into the wash to compensate for the clustering.
Yeah, it
So
wasn't.
we haven't heard anything
Back from the engineer.
back from the engineer, as far as I know.
But yet they've been going forward with the conditional use permits. I think they just kind of let our recommendations go by the wayside, but they're asking for a letter. So our recommendations
Okay.
still have to hold firm within the letter. And what we're asking for is, I mean, they didn't want to use the wash as part of the lot square footage, but by not doing that, the lots became too small, and the wash was just going to be open space, I believe, or something.
Right,
It was like, you know, the county was getting this land back, and by making it part of the lots, you think the county would accept that, because they'd be getting tax dollars based on that lot square footage.
plus we haven't had any correspondence from them, and it's been several months, so we need to go back and review our notes from that night too.
Well, that's what happened when they called and left the message on our phone line. And I called the gentleman and I said, you know, I thought you had made a recommendation, you guys want to come back one more time and say, yes, we can do this, no, we can't. And then we would submit the letter. I says, you know, right now, if the letter is written, it's going to be with all of the, you know, I don't want to say contingencies, but all the recommendations that we had, there was more than a couple. And he says, well, I think they just want the letter. So it seems, and I understand if the engineer has to spend more time, that means he's going to bill him more money. I don't think he gave him a contract. And, you know, it's just, you know, my opinion, but it seemed like that, you know, to go back and keep re-engineering things, I know it costs money.
Yeah, it does.
And then usually happen, in those churches, they have people who go to those churches that have
That are in those
knowledge
industries.
that they need to be able to do that.
You know. I was told that that is a contract with that engineer, that it's not, he's not doing it pro bono or
Right.
free, he's not
Yeah,
doing it
he's-
for the church. Well, anyways, I think Jackie should, you know, draft a letter, we'll get in contact with her, and then we can all review the draft. And
And then I'll go back to that, we probably should bring it back up in the next week.
yeah, well, I think if she does a draft at the next meeting, we can have our comments on it.
I'd like to review the minutes and everything that we, and my
Come
notes
back
too.
and see what
Yeah,
it
well,
was.
I wrote that
Kelly.
all, everything that was written in Catherine's minutes, in
Right.
the email. So
I
if
know.
you read the email, you'll see everything that.
okay. Let's just make a point to review it, and maybe we get a rough draft that we can review and make more comments on. On the planned community survey, I had a couple of conversations with Jackie and a couple of other of you. We had all kind of come up with a couple of different ideas, so I was hoping we can put a couple of those in writing now, maybe we can just put it into the minutes and that'll help us do it. But my concern was that with the survey that we want to do is that we would put it out there and a lot of the recommended businesses that would be recommended from the community would not actually be abiding by our community standards, the area plan. And I think a lot of the community aren't aware of those restraints that we have to make our decisions on. So I was almost thinking, you can all pitch in with that, but I was almost thinking that within the realm of the survey that maybe we should start off with just a quick paragraph of a couple of the restraints that we have, where it's supposed to be community serving businesses, no businesses that are supposed to increase the traffic to amount of required traffic lights. That would be important. Obviously, the exterior community standards, which could be looked up online, we have to list them, or we could list our website with community
Yeah, some of the
standards.
stuff that they do on their own, with the lights and so on, the outside lights.
Yeah, just some of the bigger items, outside lighting, pole lighting, something like that, and then, you know, start the survey where people can pull from their own ideas, but maybe within the guidelines. If they want to go outside the guidelines, that's fine, but it's just give us some reasoning on why we should recommend one.
What we've had in the past, the problem we've had was down there, like Crown Valley, just like the street out there on the street, we tried to get them to take it down. We never got anywhere with it.
Yeah.
Whenever we do a survey, we get accused of not asking the right questions, it seems.
I mean, I get accused.
Well,
So you write the survey.
I think that's what we're talking about, is to have a time period before we actually execute a survey, to get some feedback from the community and find out what questions they want, what questions we should be asking.
It's up to you.
Okay.
You want me to run a survey?
A survey, so everybody says, hey, you didn't ask, you know, what I was interested in was never even brought up. So I think before we put another survey out there, we need at least a time period for people to come in and say, this is what's important to me. And then that can be put into a compilation and become a valid survey.
Really bothered.
And we might get all of nothing, but I think we should at least have the time period for that.
What really bothered me was when we were trying to set this thing up, and we used to have meetings with the county, we had the stuff on the boards, and you know, we come back the next time, we met with them, and what we told them before, they didn't listen to us. It was, I don't know how many meetings we must have went to that, and we had a lot of people that came to them, and put us up at different tables and that, and give us a subject to talk about, and so, and, but we never got a heck of a lot out of them. We spent our time, but they, of course, they were getting paid. We didn't get paid for doing it, but many nights that we spent down in that community club.
Maybe, I mean, that
Well, maybe
seems like
you
it
could
would
do
be a,
through a mail-in, you know, or something simple like that, or
Do
a comment on the website or something.
Or do, like, cover as many bases as you can, right? The more word you get out, the better. I was thinking maybe a letter to the editor type of thing, or a letter to the community, not to me, but to the community, asking the community to give you input on the kinds of questions that
and
they
just
would
submit,
have.
and just submit them straight to the website.
And then submit wherever you want, and then once you get some response there, then you may have some more guidance
Right.
for doing the actual survey. You know, I'll provide you the space, just,
Okay.
you know, set up what you want.
I have contacted several community groups and brought this up to them, that we're going to be in the process of doing a survey, and I wanted people to start thinking about it. What are you looking for in our community? And so I will let everybody know, all the community groups know again, that it will be in the Country Journal and in your paper too, that we're going to be looking for community input.
Right.
I mean, we have to start somewhere.
Okay,
So,
so basically, we're going to write a letter to the community that we can publish.
yeah,
We'll submit it to everybody.
who's going to do that?
I guess I'll do that.
Okay,
And I'll set up the website to take in the responses.
okay, good job, Tom, thanks.
All right, and, So just to clarify, then Jackie will be doing the letter to the Catholic Church, and we'll try to get a rough draft.
Yes,
For that, Tom will do the letter to the community.
community.
But I'll do the letter to Dennis Neer and Aaron College. Maybe we'll have 3 rough drafts by the next meeting.
Okay. We're gonna get that, so we're tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, then we'll move up to Boy Scouts. You guys ready to speak? You need a quick minute?
Are you planning on speaking?
No, we weren't planning on speaking, we were just taking notes from what we heard.
Oh, you're here as a community interest. Fantastic, okay.
Do you want to just stand up and talk a little bit about what you're doing for your merit badge and communication and citizenship? And any questions for us?
That worked.
Okay, so, I've never done this before, but, yeah, this is Thomas, I'm Tim. We both live in Acton, about 20 minutes away from here.
I live over by the Acton Market. He lives up in...
Used to hang out or burgers, but I don't really know who it is now. We are doing 2 merit badges that involve doing stuff for the community. So right now we are taking notes on like what's going on in the areas around us and doing research on topics and
Finding issues in our community, see what's good about the issue, what's bad about the issue. Obviously the issues covered in this meeting aren't that great because it's all mostly sad news, but it's still something to report.
yeah. So thank you for having us here.
Okay.
Great to see you.
You're with 3.45?
No.
555. True 555. We're out of
I'm there.
Honda.
Great, and where are you guys going to publish a report at, or is it going to be just submitted to the troop leaders? Or?
It's part of, we submitted to our,
Council?
yeah, our back council.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. We want to submit it to our website. Illegal filming and closures of Soledad Canyon, but it just so happens one of our neighbors, and my neighbor Scott Rowe, gave me a call Friday afternoon that a document had been dropped into another Acton resident's mailbox, and it was left on there. And the issue for anyone who hasn't been here is that we had a meeting a month ago, and the problem with Soledad Canyon, Public Works requires that any full road closures give a minimum of 10 days notice, and that's basically posted on barricades on the road. Anyone taking Soledad Canyon has noticed over the last few years they close Soledad Canyon at will, and they feel like it with no notification whatsoever. At the same time, without road closures, once Public Works approves them, it's also put on the Public Works website, and that's where the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department is also notified of the road closures, so they can make amends to their emergency services and driving. And we thought we got to the bottom of this, and they were going to be working on it Friday afternoon, which is typical for a lot of the film industry, as they drop things off after offices have closed. So you got a holiday weekend. Friday afternoon, this is left saying, County of Los Angeles filming survey, full road closure for 20th Century Fox filming sitcom called New Girl from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. on Tuesday, which is tomorrow morning. There's been no, and today's a holiday, there's no way to ever get a hold of any official offices to ask them what's going on. I called Film LA, the woman that was in the meeting with us says, well, I didn't understand that we had any problems with road closures on Soledad Canyon in that meeting. And I said, what meeting were you at? And so I said, there's been no notification. Public Works says in 5 years they've never authorized that road to be closed. She says, well, I've got a signature from a Public Works official that says it was authorized. So she did email me while we were sitting here a copy of the permit. I'm going to look it over, and tomorrow morning, first thing when I get up, I'll be calling Public Works. They also hire the Sheriff's Departments and the Highway Patrol that come in and say, you've got a permit, and they haven't been looking at the permits closely. Most of the permits pulled said partial and part-time closures, 2 to 5 minute intervals, not full closures. So you've got one department says we've never authorized Soledad Canyon to be closed, especially since it's a secondary artery to the freeway. If there's an accident on the freeway, Soledad Canyon is backed up for miles. And they said they also, even if they did authorize closure, they wouldn't do it during rush hour traffic, which they consider from their records 7 to 9. Obviously, it's more like 4:30 to 7:30. So starting at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, there's going to be a traffic issue and they're closing it down, and we'll see if we can't get to it. And I wanted to thank Scott for bringing that to my attention while I was driving to San Diego Friday night. So.
Gabriel, we've got a petition put out by the Hanford group. I've got petitions here tonight, thanks to Scott Rowe back there who got his and gave me some of them. So what it is Scott Wilk, I believe, was the writer of this. Am I correct in that?
1866,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, Scott Wilk, our congressman. What they're, pardon? Assembly. Assembly, you're right. What we're trying to do, what they are trying to do is take the $9 billion approximately that's left in the High-Speed Rail Authority's fund and transfer it to water issues for the state of California. So they need 585,000 signatures. We need to have these petitions back into the Hanford group by, it says April 11th. I'd like to get them there sooner. So if you haven't signed the petition tonight, it should be in the back. Scott's got them. And I will have them in my office, and we will be getting more in the mail. Catherine's ordered some, I've ordered some, we just haven't gotten them yet. So our goal is to get 1,000 signatures between Acton and Agua Dulce. And we've been able to do that in the past with other petitions that we've gotten. So it's a good goal. I think we're okay with it. So those are here. If you by chance want to take one of the petitions so that you can get your neighbors and family to sign, you can take one. It's got instructions here, and then just bring it back to me. Okay? And then there was an article written by Ralph.
I'm sorry, Pam, I want to just touch on that for
Yeah.
a second. Is there, I talked to Scott and he had said something, and I just want to verify it, that there's some sort of requirement they have to be from within an area. You can't get a signature from here and then one from the valley.
Yes.
Or in a
No,
different county.
county only. So if you take one of the forms, or you're going to get signatures on it, everybody on here has to be LA County.
And LA City is still considered LA County?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then whoever's gathering the signatures has to document down here that they got those signatures.
Okay.
The actual petition information is on the inside, and it's 1, 2, 3, almost 4 pages of small fine print explaining about the water. Yes, ma'am.
And where are you to get it back to you?
Oh, my office is right next to Pete's Place over on Sierra Highway,
Okay.
unit number 5.
Okay.
So if you want to take one, great, and then it's got instructions right here on how to do it, and then I'll write my name and phone number and everything on there. Yeah, Scott?
I just wanted to clarify the county thing.
Yeah.
If I was to take this up to Rosemont, everybody that signs it has to be current county.
Current county.
There can't be anybody from another county on this date. Like everybody that signs here has to be a LA County resident on the off chance that somebody from current county wants to do it. But otherwise it disqualifies the entire page. So,
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
yeah, do you understand?
Yeah, so each sheet has to be for one county only.
Can they, but they can be like a Burbank or Sherman Oaks or LA?
That's what I had asked, and any of the cities within LA County are also eligible.
So they're all LA County.
Right.
It's just that, you know, we could be going up to Rosemont, like Scott said, or whatever, that's Kern County. Yeah, well, we're shooting for all of our residents here to sign it. So we just will worry about LA County then. So I think I've got maybe 12 or 13, I don't know what I've got left here, Scott, 11? But we're expecting more. Catherine will have more, and as soon as we've got them, we'll get out there and pass them out to people in the neighborhoods that might be willing to go and get. There's nine signatures to a page.
Somebody asked me a question today, will somebody have petitions at the feed store, or the hardware store, or other places, and I just said, well, somebody has to leave. There has to be a signature gathered, or we can't just leave them on the counter.
Well, I'll fill 2 petitions tomorrow if I can get them from somebody.
Okay.
Well, here you are. That's 18 signatures. Woo-hoo.
Got at least that many people, I'll see them.
Okay.
They're all fired.
That's right.
I guess the question I have,
Yes, Scott.
you had indicated,
When will you have more? And can we get them at your office?
Yes, you can get them at my office, and we're expecting them any day. We've ordered them. I ordered mine 8 or 9 days ago.
Right, me too.
But I was told that they're really backed up. They didn't expect this kind of response. And so, hallelujah. So Catherine should get,
I only ordered 10 though, but I can order some more.
I ordered 100.
Okay.
and what I did was I went directly to their website,
Yeah.
and then I emailed a couple days later, what's going on? And they responded immediately.
Okay, good. That just,
Did he get you back?
There is an article that Catherine saw today that was written by Ralph Baden. He is the LA Times reporter that has done numerous articles about the high-speed rail, and he's explaining about the petition. So I've only got 2 of those left, but I'm sure you can go on you can go on latimes.com, and it's a bullet train ballot. Okay, so if you want to read more about it, get a little extra. I had a family member that was sick, and I couldn't leave him, so I wasn't able to go. But I will post it on our website, the breakdown that I got from Aaron Fukuda, who is one of the, I'm losing my train of thought here. What is he? Aaron Fukuda?
He's one of the plaintiffs.
Plaintiff, there we go. Him and John Toss. And he wrote a really good response. And you've also,
I've got Kathy Hamilton's article, which is excellent, and I'm going to, she's given me permission to publish the whole thing, so I will do that.
awesome. So
It's
will
quite
that,
long and quite involved, but she was there, and she covered the whole thing
will that come out
Saturday.
this Saturday? Okay, so everybody can go and find it there. It was, from what I can determine from everybody that was there that I've spoken to, the judge asked very technical, pointed questions to the Attorney General's attorney that was there. And apparently it got very technical as to what they were supposed to be doing for Prop 1A. Is that?
Well, there's issues as to, the authority is saying that they have the right to change Prop 1A and adjust it to what their needs are. And of course, Aaron and Mr. Toss are saying just the opposite, that Prop 1A says what it says, it's what the people voted for, and that they haven't got the right to go in there and start making changes without asking the people.
And it'd be nice to actually get plugged into the county and get some real resources.
Yeah, well, what we kind of relied on in past was that Norm used to give us a lot of information about who was running.
Right, and Norm's answer to everything is, you guys don't exist.
People did show up
Exactly.
at some of our meetings.
You're right.
What we have now out of there is.
Well, it's even less, exactly.
Get much out of it.
And so maybe we have an opportunity to start something new, and hopefully with a front runner, and be able to put our support, and maybe get the community to support some of these people if they're going to support us with some actual representation.
So maybe we should consider
Yeah,
posting it.
because actually, everybody that run in the past, knew pretty well, knew all of it pretty well. And some of them have done a good job.
Maybe.
Our assemblyman,
That's actually a good idea. He had been on this list, that we can host it, and invite all the roles on council.
We could invite all the rural town councils, invite them, have it here at the library or the community club.
Do you think this would be big enough?
I don't know. Community club holds more people, but we could host an event, come and meet, because how do we know that the next person in that Tonbridge's spot is going to even consider keeping up with the rural town council, since he's the one that initiated the rural town councils? I'm a little worried that we're gonna get somebody that could care less.
And look at the size of our voting block, and
The
we're
rural
not gonna get
town
a lot.
council has, in the past, has invited them individually, but not all of them through that way.
Right, I wouldn't, yeah.
But if you do it that way, it'd probably be better than what we're talking about, and just be able to bring so many of us could go. Or something that's.
I'm saying we host it.
And
So that
bring
we're-
them all in at one time.
And we host it here in Acton, and we bring in because if we put it out there too far, you don't get as much.
It's in Fair Lancaster, on Avenue.
No, I know where they hold
You know,
meetings,
I mean,
but
yeah,
it's
we're
small.
out there,
It's
we
small.
need a larger venue. Thousand Trails offered that big room.
Yeah.
You could fit 400 or 500 people in there, but they've got
Well, we
plenty of
can do
parking.
that too. I'm just saying,
Make an event,
let's
make an event of it.
make an event.
And, you know, if we market it to the 6 individuals, that they're gonna have an audience of 500. I've never seen a politician not want to speak in front of a lot of people
Exactly.
when they need votes.
And if we could get the press there somehow?
We can do that.
You know, when I went to that January ARTC meeting, there was a man from Altadena who is running, and he was listed in the LA Times article, Billy Malone. And Altadena, I didn't realize this is unincorporated, and he said he really would make that his main, you know, what do you call it, what they stand on. That he really wants to represent unincorporated areas. The only thing is, I guess, you know, he doesn't have a big fund behind him, or a lot of people don't know him. But I don't know if you'd want to invite him to this or not.
Okay, what was his name? Billy Malone?
Billy Malone, and I can get you his phone number.
Okay. I don't know, what do you guys think about hosting an event?
I think it's a great idea.
Takes a little work, but
It's a lot of work, but yes.
I didn't, let's talk. Jackie has me in with that